I don't know much about technology. It was until last year that I found out what breakout sessions were. And I always secretly felt that the word innovation is a word that we often use, but none of us really know what it means. So when the ATECH founders contacted me to give a speech here at this awesome conference, I sent them this crying face that I always send to express myself. And I said, I'm a writer. What do you want from me? What do you want me to say? And they said, come talk about stories and the importance of stories in the context of startups and new companies, businesses, and products. So I sent 2 of these crying faces and I said, I accept, but I don't know where to start. And then I remembered this classic advice that is given to all writers in almost all of creative writing workshops. Write what you know. So I asked myself, what do you know about startups, new products, companies? And my answer was related to my question that I always pose when I'm presented with the opportunity to buy a new product. Why? The main reason I ask this question is because I'm cheap. And that's not even a joke, I'm like flat out cheap. Like anybody who knows me knows that I get ecstatic at getting free stuff. The second reason is because I want to know why it exists and if I need it. Was this product created because the world needs it, or was it created because of any other reason? So with this idea in mind of need versus any other motive, I approached 3 companies, 3 local companies that I know, and I asked them to share their stories with me so that I can come share it with you today. Is that all right with you? All right. This is Joanne Ridderstad. 2 years ago, she started feeling pain, had no energy, and lost a lot of weight. After visiting her doctor numerous times and after finally switching to another practitioner, she found herself in the hospital where she received a call from our local healthcare company telling her everything is set for her to fly to the Netherlands immediately. She didn't understand what was going on and asked the lady on the line what it was she had that was so severe that she needed to go abroad. The lady said, talk to your doctor. She called her doctor, who said he would come to speak to her personally. When he arrived, he explained to her that she was in the final stages of leukemia and needed to be treated urgently. He said she could die any minute or on the plane flight to the Netherlands. With that sentence, her body shut down. She could no longer walk and was transported in a wheelchair. Her sister accompanied her to the Netherlands as her husband stayed in Aruba with their 2 small children and their business. 1 month became 2 months, 2 months became 3, 3 became 4, and at a certain point she no longer knew when or if she would return. She would Skype with her husband and children every day. Her husband picked up gardening to calm his mind. Joanne searched for lovely memories to calm hers. As she laid on the hospital bed day and night, she reminisced on her life. Most of it was spent working at a bank as much and as hard as she could in order to succeed in her career. I was very much materialistic, she said, and on that bed, none of that seemed to matter, and none of that consoled me. I was looking to reflect on my memories of time well spent, and I realized I didn't have many. With not much to remember, she started talking to God. She prayed for her children, her husband, and her sister who was by her side. She asked for strength so she can remain strong for them. She had undergone several treatments of chemotherapy, and up to that point, all her test results came out positive as they could be. Each time she received her results, she knew it was positive as soon as the doctor entered her room because he was alone. When it's negative, they travel in groups to deliver the news. After her last chemo, 3 doctors entered her room as she paced herself. They gave her a 20% chance of survival. That night, her condition worsened. Her body filled up with fluid, and the nurses couldn't do anything for her. They called the doctor, who said he would come over, but there wasn't much he could do. She was dying. Again, she started talking to God. She said, if it is your will for me to go, I will accept it. But if you give me one last chance to not put my children through the pain of losing their mother, I promise I will live to serve you. She survived the night. A month later, the doctor couldn't believe she was sending her home. She returned to Aruba after 6 months of being away from her children and husband. At home, she encountered a full garden where her husband began planting fruits and vegetables and started to experiment with fermented sauerkraut. While Joanne was away, he took note of all the changes she had to make in her lifestyle and eating habits. He noticed how much Joanne was complaining about the yogurts she had to eat but did not like. And so he searched for an alternative, fermented sauerkraut. Its detoxifying enzymes and ability to inhibit the growth of cancer cells was the perfect replacement. They let their family members try it, who shared it with their friends, and on the island, word travels fast, and in no time, they began to receive orders. They figured they needed to at least package it properly and give it a name. After waking up from a dream where he saw himself writing the name Ilse on a piece of paper, Joanne's husband proposed to name the product Ilse. As I said, on the island, word travels fast. Joanne was invited to a televised talk show where she spoke about the product and its benefits. They kept the price at 7 guilders and 80 cents to make it accessible for as many people as possible. A lady who had trouble with the veins in her legs saw Joanne on the show and started buying the sauerkraut regularly, and it helped her calm the veins. One evening, as she picked up her bottle, the lady asked Joanne what Ilse stood for. Joanne told the lady about her husband's dream, and the lady said she would look up the meaning of the name in the Bible when she got home. After the lady left, Joanne decided to search for the meaning in something similar to the Bible. Yes, that's my techie. She Googled Ilse and found oath meaning promise to God. She remembered the promise she made to God on the hospital bed in the Netherlands. The last thing she told me when we spoke was, "Rosabelle, God does not want us to suffer. Cancer did not exist before certain products were created, mass-produced, and consumed. I did not create or invent this product. It's natural and it's needed. Wake up." I think she's in the audience, I'm not sure. If you're in the audience, just raise your hand. There she is right there. This is Naline Heilbron. After working as a news anchor for some time, she needed a break from it all. She escaped to Bogota and got lost in nature on an Indian preserve. As a strong believer of energy, she felt reconnected to the source. She was blown away by nature, its purity, and how the people there only relied on what the land around them produced. You start to see things differently. Your eyes are opened somehow, she says. She learned about holistic therapies and how to take care of your body. This experience made her do research on mass-produced brand cosmetics and the added chemical and artificial ingredients that are used in these products, as well as the animal testing that goes on. The only way to make sure that what I'm putting on my skin is all natural was to make it myself. She started studying in Bogota to become a formulator and flew back and forth from Bogota to Aruba to complete her certification. Once back in Aruba, she began creating 100% natural soaps that you must use within 3 months because there are no preservatives in them. They consist of natural ingredients found right here on Aruba, such as sea salt, fruits, flowers, and herbs, and they are biodegradable. Her first unpaid customer, her sister, suffers from epilepsy and skin cancer. Her sister started using Naline's olive oil soap, which had great results soothing her skin. The olive oil soap is the purest kind, commonly used in Syria, but its soft, slippery structure and the sliminess it leaves behind in your soap jar does not make it popular. We are not used to it. It's not our idea of a proper soap. When Naline told me this, it reminded me of the differences in the shapes of farm tomatoes and perfect supermarket tomatoes. Or the fact that some people are happy to see feathers in their box of eggs, while others refuse to buy it because they are appalled at the sight of signs that it is truly coming from a real chicken. So a formula that includes coconut oil in addition to the olive oil makes for a more sturdier soap that we are used to, and it is still all natural. After her sister, Naline's mother started using her soaps. Then her mother's friends got to try it and no longer wanted to wait to receive it as a gift from Naline, but they wanted to start buying it. "We need the leche cabrito one. Now we can scratch our legs when we get mosquito bites without our skin getting white," they would say about the almond soap, which is made with goat milk. She created a label as best as she could and started selling her soaps to her mother's friends. One night, at a fancy high-end reception, Leiden bumped into a successful businessman who asked her what she was up to nowadays. Her friend, who was standing next to her, said, "Oh, she's just a stay-at-home housewife who makes soap all day." The gentleman said, "What? You make soap from scratch? I want to speak to you first thing Monday morning." So she arrived at the meeting with a few samples of her soap wrapped in a modest packaging with a boring label, and the gentleman listened to how it started. He told her to redesign the label, put her picture in the back, and tell her story. If she made those adjustments, he would start selling them in a couple of stores. Hard work, trial and error, challenges, but a strong commitment to delivery brought a final product that was placed in the coconut stores around the island. As I said before, word travels fast around here. So while she was in Bogota to receive her certification, she received a call from the upscale, adult-only, eco-friendly Tara and Bukuti Hotel asking to meet with her sales representative. She explained that she was not on the island at the moment and told them that she wanted to take the meeting herself instead of sending her non-existent sales representative. So she asked if they could meet once she was back. She accepted the offer to produce soaps for their guest rooms, but there was one problem. Up to that point, her mother and nieces and nephews would help her with the packaging, but they were not always available and they were just doing it as a favor. She needed employees. Her friend, who was aware of Leiden's search, bumped into a job coach who helps people with disabilities be incorporated in the labor market. Her friend explained Leiden's situation to the job coach, who said it was a perfect opportunity for some of their members. She received a small group of ladies with some form of mental or physical limitation. They are paid per product. There is a limit to how much they can earn, and they perform based on how they feel. On days that they do not feel like it or need more breaks, they can enjoy Leiden's garden, watch TV, or do something else. It always balances itself out. The next day, they produce 3 times as much, and sometimes Leiden has to force them to go home because they're in a zone and they just want to continue. Leftover soap from the edges of the mold are recycled and delivered by the ladies as donation to different organizations around the island. The design of these donation soaps was created by Jocelyn, an autistic young lady. Leiden told Jocelyn that the concept should be based on, as long as business permits, one hand is to help yourself and the other hand is to help someone else. Recently, over 500 soaps were sent to St. Martin due to the disasters caused by the hurricane. I can reprocess the edges of the mold and sell it, but it won't give me the same feeling as donating it. After work, the ladies come to thank her for providing work for them that day. Some of these ladies were previously working in the kitchen of a snack shop. One typical Aruba snack for our foreigners in the room is cheese balls, like you see here. Inspired by making cheese balls at her previous job, one of the girls, Rutlin, asked Leiden if she can make a round soap like a cheese ball. Leiden allowed Rutlin to experiment with the design, and the prototype for the sugar bomb is now ready to go on the market. The only thing that is missing is Rutlin's story to go on the label. Leiden's intern is currently busy with that. The last thing she told me when we spoke was, "Rosabelle, it costs me more money to print the packages in Aruba and to let people with limitations put them together. But I have limitations too. I just don't focus on them. I focus on my strengths and on their strengths. The same love and passion I put in my old-fashioned way of making soap from scratch that takes me 30 days, they put in the packaging. We need each other. Wake up." I think she's also in the audience, right? She's in the back there. Last one, 6 minutes. I can do it. This is Ashley Alip. Due to his odd size, he could never find pants that fit him, and he is very particular about the materials that he likes to feel on his skin. He would buy the fabric he loves, take it to his grandmother, who would sew his pants just the way he designed them, with the pockets as big as he wanted them, skinny in the right places, and looser in other areas. He realized his grandmother would not be around forever, so he asked her to teach him how to sew. She gave him her sewing machine, along with all her seamstress secrets. His grandfather was an upholsterer and owned the oldest upholstery shop in Aruba, dated back to 1935. His uncle runs it now. That's his uncle right there. Took that picture yesterday. Ash's father, who grew up in this upholstery business, wanted something more for his children, so Ash never learned this trade from his grandfather. However, in 2012, he went to wooden boat school in Maine, and there he learned, among other things, traditional canvas sewing. While the other students were busy making canvas cushions for sailboats, Ash started making canvas bags. He felt he could make a business out of selling these bags, but he wanted a couple of things to be in place. When he was younger, he created a t-shirt line called Ducks and Robots, along with a group of his friends. He says, "Neon was in, and then it was out before we knew it. Our logo was hot, and then it was not before we knew it. We were kids, man." So this time around, he designed his logo and sat on it for 2 years, just to see if he would still like it. He wanted it to be timeless. He did the same thing with the design of his bags. It's based on a traditional design that has been around for over 50 years. Ash just added the colors of the Caribbean, and he plays with the patterns inspired by our culture. This one that you see right here is inspired by classic Aruban tiles, which his friend takes pictures of. First they find it, then they take pictures of it, and then they print it on the canvas, and then he sews it, and they sell it. Ash says he did not want this bag to be trend-driven. He wanted to make them sustainable, durable, and that in 10 years after purchasing it, you will still pick up the bag and wear it. Thinking about companies that purposefully give their products a short life or introduce a new version with nothing significantly changed, I asked him, aren't you worried that at a certain point, especially in Aruba, everyone will have this durable, season-proof bag, so how do you keep them coming for more? He said I would quit my job and go do something else rather than allow myself to get hungry for money. Many people have asked him why he does not sell his bags online. I always wondered that myself because I always see people begging him in the comment section of his Instagram posts to please sell them online. So speaking to him a couple of days ago, I finally got the answer. He said he wants you to buy it in Aruba. He wants it to be only available in Aruba. You were either in Aruba and purchased it for yourself, or you were in Aruba and you purchased it for someone else abroad. He says from a business standpoint, it's kind of dumb. From an artistic standpoint, it makes a lot of sense. He received and declined many offers to mass produce his bags. Here's the thing about Ash that you must know in order to understand his mindset. His goal with Tangerine is not to make money he does not need. When he quit his full-time job to live 100% off of Tangerine, he did so because he wanted to spend time. He learned that time made him happy. He just needed a certain amount of money to live. I can always decide to make more money, but I cannot make more time. This is all the time we get. He notices people around him also want more time, but are not willing to change their lifestyle to reflect what they need. He works based on his emotions. If he doesn't feel like sewing today, he won't. Then he'll find himself on a roll working 4 days until midnight just because that's when he felt like it. He imports his material from an American company that he is familiar with and knows that the people working there are operating under good conditions and receive fair pay. The last thing he said to me before we stopped Skyping was, "Rosabelle, it costs me more money to order my materials from this company, but I feel doing so makes me a better person. Success is measured by how you live, dude. Wake up." He's not here because he's vacationing in the Netherlands. So why did I bring all of this up? It's because that's what I know. These are the people that I know. And to be associated with them, just by being an Aruban, inspires me greatly. The fact that their companies and with their values exist on this island inspires me incredibly. The t-shirt that I'm wearing today is created by an Aruban designer who created it to raise awareness on current landfill issues that we are facing on the island. So her promotional campaign, if you look on the screen, were all taken in this area. This is not me, this is a model. She's way more glamorous than I am. So, it is not my intention to tell you that your products or your company has to have some sort of background story like the ones that I have shared today. It is to inspire us all, myself included, to operate according to our needs, to imagine a needs-based world. If only for today, just for today. Every step that you take, analyze it based on a needs-based perspective. Wherever you go, whatever you eat, whoever you hang out with, whatever you buy, just ask yourself, do I need it? Analyze it from a needs-based perspective, and if it opens your eyes just a little bit more, please stay woke. Thank you.